The national chairman of the Labour Party, LP Julius Abure, has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to cancel elections in areas where there is violence and intimidation of voters, especially in Obioakpo, Kana, Eleme, Obigbo, and Rumokoro local government areas of Rivers State and some parts of Lagos State. Abure made the call on Sunday in Abuja. He said the party's leadership is shocked by the revelations emanating from Rivers and other states after the presidential and National Assembly elections held on Saturday. He alleged that thugs invaded various polling units and collation centers and took away election materials, including result sheets. The Labour Party chairman also alleges that the thugs manipulated the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS machines, and uploaded fake results into the central portal.
INEC staff were intimidated by these thugs in connivance with the military personnel and police officers who were deployed to protect them into doing their bidding and were forced to manipulate the beavers, being afraid of the consequences of their refusal. Some of these manipulations happened way late in the night. We demand that INEC investigate these atrocities against Nigerian voters by the political class. We are therefore asking that INEC should rise to the occasion and cancel all the unverified and manipulated results arising from the presidential and National Assembly election. We are therefore calling on Mr. President, His Excellency General Muhammadu Buhari, who has promised Nigerians that he will leave a legacy of free, fair, and credible elections, assuring Nigerians on several occasions that their votes will count and that the process leading to the election will be transparent.
Joining us now is Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, Labour Party governorship candidate for Lagos State. Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we just had the chairman of your party, Julius Abure, there, asking for cancellation of the election in some parts of the country. Some people have said, no, that's probably premature. It's only Labour Party that is calling for cancellation in some parts and urging INEC to do so. That's one. Number two, no structure, no structure. Labour Party, no structure. But from the results that, have been coming out of the state collation centers, it looks like your party is redefining the idea of structure in Nigerian politics. Yeah. And especially in Lagos. Yeah. You are the gubernatorial candidate. I'd like to ask you, our market, how is it going?
We are happy that, our people came out in huge numbers. I want to say thank you to the many Lagosians that came out despite all the intimidation, despite all the irregularities, and cast their vote. We are extremely disappointed with INEC because the whole idea of this election was that there was going to be electronic transmission of votes. That was the thing that was supposed to set this election apart from everything that has happened since 2019. But that was not the case. All across Lagos State, when uploads were tried to be made, the portal was not open. As at 4 o'clock, 4:30, the portal was showing on machine that the portal was not open. And INEC had so much time to prepare for this, and they devoted so much money to the beavers. That is one. We now got into a situation where the elections carried on as it has been done in the past without beavers. So even these results that we are seeing where Labour Party showed an amazing showing, our results have been significantly reduced. Margins have been significantly truncated. We're looking at places like Ikeja local government where our calculations show that we got almost 50,000 votes and they're announcing 30,000. We're looking at Alimosho where they declared that we won, but almost 50,000 votes have been taken away from our results. And we're also looking at a situation in Ojo where just 3 polling units they called violence were there, but we won at all the polling units with a margin of 9,600. They are saying that the results there for the House of Rep is inconclusive. In Surulere 2, we won there with 3,000 votes margin. INEC is saying that it was a mistake that our candidate was on the poll. So all sorts of irregularities going on with INEC right now. That's extremely shocking, but we are not going to accept these results. We have all our original polling unit results, and we're going to see this through to make sure that we claim the mandate that the people of Lagos have given us.
All right, so in furtherance of your assessment of the past weekend's elections, they're still collating results. I want you to share a few more things around some of the things that you yourself have talked about. You've talked about manipulations, also threats to life.
Yes.
So the INEC, the Labour Party chair in Lagos State, Pastor Dayo Ekong, famously on the Collation Center, had said that the results from some polling units were done under duress, in fact, at gunpoint.
Yes.
I'd like you to speak more about that. Eunice Atuejide from Apapa local government area did a video about 3 minutes long talking about threats to her life. By some members of the opposition, just sharing the threats to life of some of your members.
Yes.
Can you shed more light on this?
Yes, there have been a lot of threats to our members at the Collation Center, at the polling units. Even our chairman, he's in hiding now because of the threats to him. Our chief, our candidate for House of Rep, is also seeking his insecurity. He's in a secure place. He's supposed to go and collect his certificate of return. We are making security arrangements for him to be able to go for it. And this in Ojo, they came in with thugs to chase all our people out of the Collation Center. Thankfully, the army was able to respond and come in there for our people to go back in because they wanted to carry on the manipulation, reducing our numbers. That was the end game that they had, right? So this has been all over Lagos State, but our people have been resolute. And they've stood. So despite all of these cuts downs, it's because the people came out in a huge mass. So even with the rigging, there's only so much they can rig to.
Have you made reports? Have there been reports? Have there been arrests based on these threats you've had?
People have been taken into custody. Some people in Echosa yesterday, in front of Oniru's palace, in front of Elegushi's palace, the army stepped in, and also in Alimosho as well. But the security has not been what we expected it to be. A lot of situations, the police will just leave and the area boys will just come and take over and scatter the place. So the security apparatus of these elections needs a lot of work. They need to sit up. INEC has been colluding with the ruling party in Lagos State to really make a mess of this entire process. And it's extremely disgraceful.
There's a message going on around, and you might want to debunk that, about people saying that not being able to upload was probably sabotage orchestrated in some quarters. Anyway, INEC has issued a statement saying that it's not sabotage and all of that it was just glitches. I mean, what's that position on not being able to? And also, I know there were protests as regards, the wreck in Lagos, Mr. Agbaje. Where are we as regards those protests that they are not confident about him running a free and fair election? And also, I know you took the INEC to court over MCO Lomo distributing materials. Was that her dad too? Can you talk me through all of those points?
So we are going to have to look into that. The main thing of taking people to court and setting precedents is for the long game, because a lot of these things are still going to end up in court. So that's why we set that precedent. Now, when you look at everything that happened in relation to, at my polling unit, where we won, we insisted, transmit these results. First, you had agents that were saying they are not being trained to transmit results, that they do not have the code to transmit the results. You had people that when we eventually insisted that they transmit the results, you see that when they press send, portal is not yet open. At 4 o'clock, till 6 o'clock, portal was still not open. The moment transmission of results did not happen from polling units, this election had been compromised. Because now it fell back to the manual collation. You saw the video in Apapa where the INEC official was using Tipex and writing and rewriting results. So now we've seen a situation where most of the original polling unit results that we have is not corresponding to what they have uploaded on the server, because they went to do it in the collation centers and they went behind and did it without any input from Labour Party or any other agent. And they are now transmitting these fake results. Right? The idea of transmitting from polling units was to bring equity and fairness to this process, and that has been completely compromised.
Okay, the court case. Well, can you tell us more about that court case? Because you went to court to seek an injunction to stay
Yes.
on MC Olomo handling
Exactly.
the logistics.
So-
and also the fact that names are being mentioned as regards the compromise of the transmission.
Yeah.
That why was the system stalling? And some names have been mentioned. And the position of, REC,
Yes.
the INEC REC in
Yes.
Lagos, Mr. Agbaje. Are you confident about
We are
it?
not confident about Mr. Agbaje. We are saying this now unequivocally because there's nothing that is happening that he is not aware of. And the bulk must stop on his table. INEC completely mismanaged these elections in Lagos State, as far as we are concerned. In terms of the court case, we won the substantive judgment barring INEC from doing anything at all with MC Olomo, his agency, or any agency that is tied to him. Right? The idea is that monies cannot go through him. He cannot negotiate or do anything involved with the elections, right? And we are going to look forensically and see how these things were moved eventually, right? And that is on the later note. But what we are talking about now is the compromise in Lagos State, especially for the presidential election. Because there are instances where the senatorial result was uploaded, the House of Rep was uploaded, but the presidential election was not uploaded across Lagos State. So there must be something that was done intentionally that stopped that from happening.
Okay. The question to ask is, what are the details of these technical glitches that INEC is talking about? Because it's not enough for INEC to just tell us, oh, we use the BVAS during the off-cycle election season. It's because of the transition to a major election that we are having these glitches. I mean, it's
Not acceptable.
pure common sense.
Exactly,
To
because-
know that if you are going to have large election, then you are going to be better prepared.
Yes,
so
and
as your political party confronted INEC to say, we want the details of these so-called technical glitches instead of just throwing phrases about. And why has there been no improvement since yesterday when INEC said our engineers are working on it? Are they importing the engineers from South Africa or from Europe?
The maintenance team is supposed to be on ground. They are supposed to know that this was the end purpose of spending so much money. You have to understand, over 20,000, because we have 13,325 polling units in Lagos State, and there must have been backup. So at least a minimum of 20,000 beavers was brought into Lagos State. Imagine the amount of money that the country has spent on this, and yet it did not yield the results that it was supposed to do. So that is wasted resources, and INEC must account for that. Right? Because it's not enough to just call everything glitches, especially if they are now trying to set this as a precedent for the next elections that are coming, which will not be acceptable.
All right,
Okay. Well, we've got to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ball.